YouTube to pick it up.
Indeed, a Rooney.
Okay, there we go. Hello.
Here we
Greetings,
are.
sentient beings.
Greetings and salutations.
Yep, and let me kill the echo here on mine. There we go. And there's Angie. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing
Angelicious.
today?
Doc, how you doing, sweetie?
Oh,
I'm
hanging in
good.
there.
I'm alright. I'm awake now. How you doing,
Oh, don't
Purple?
do that.
What?
Waking up, it's a mistake.
Well, I keep
It's an
hoping
illusion.
every time I go to sleep that this is the last time I'll have to, but it just doesn't seem to work out that way. There's always that little bit in the back of my mind that goes, yeah, this would be alright if it's the big sleep.
Yeah.
I ain't scared. Okay, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Such a cheery topic we're starting off with.
I know. It's just so much going
Okay.
on.
So yeah, we've got Robert X and Critical Cripple in the side chat.
Hello, guys.
Hi. I said hi to him in the chat.
YouTube had said 5 people watching, so I think we probably have a couple more lurking there that just haven't typed anything.
Oh, I need to look at that.
So
What are you doing? Get down.
then again, I can never quite tell how YouTube counts people.
Yeah, mine says 2, but it's through the Xbox, and there's a big lag, and it's goofy anyway, so...
Doesn't it count for folks like watching through Facebook and stuff like that too? I don't know. Haven't the foggiest idea.
Yeah, I don't know either
Well,
how that works. Ooh, Mr. Shadow Kitty.
Hi, kitty.
Hello, Mr. Shadow Kitty and Nerdy Rodent.
And Nerdy. Yay.
Oh, yeah, Nerdy did some more of his bathtub singing.
He's really Mighty
Did you
Mouse.
get a
He
chance
just
to
doesn't want
listen to
anybody
that?
to know.
Yeah, I checked that one out, yeah. Like the one he did just a day or 2 ago?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a great voice.
He does.
I feel weird being the only face up here, y'all. That's not fair.
Sorry.
Everybody's looking at me.
I was mentioning I have a camera now, but it turns out that without a memory upgrade, my computer cannot handle running the camera and the streaming software at the same time. So I still have to wait until I can afford to buy some more memory for this thing. I've got the space to upgrade. It only has 2K. It's got 4 2K memory chips, and it can take up to an 8K chip in each slot. So
Yeah,
I just need the memory to buy a couple. Need the money to buy a couple of 8K chips to put in there. Which isn't a lot. I think on Amazon it was like $65 for a pair. So not real expensive, but just haven't really had money to spare. And actually, I need to go fix my car after we're done with this. Or actually, I need to go and cut the old pieces out so I know what pieces to order.
What's wrong with your wheels, darling?
Whose wheels?
Last week I was supposed to drive to Minnesota, and it blew out the brake line to the rear brakes, so completely lost all the power brakes.
Oh, I think I remember you saying that now.
Hey, Orla.
Hello, Orla.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those questions of the cost of doing it right, or is there a way I can patch it cheap? Is even doing it right, it's a question of being able to find the right parts for that thing.
I'm not very good at mechanicking. I can look at pieces and know what's wrong with it, but I can't fix it.
Yeah, well, that's cars are not my thing. If you tell me what's wrong, I can replace the components, but
I can tell you
diagnosing it,
what's wrong, and then you can fix it.
yeah.
I can tell you what's wrong with it. I can't fix it.
Well, and brake lines, I did the brake lines on a friend's car when I lived in New York. So it's like it's something I can do, but having to custom bend them is a pain in the ass. And if
Everything
you get
about
one of the
working on a
bends
car is a
wrong,
pain.
you can like ruin the whole piece and you have to start all over again. And this is assuming that I can even find the tools again because I haven't done it since I moved here, so I haven't needed those tools and not sure where they are. If they're still packed up in the storage and I have to go through everything to find the tools I need.
At some point, it becomes just easier to find a way to make somebody else do it.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, you go with the mechanic and it winds up being 3, 4 times the cost.
Yeah, but do people still barter in your area?
Unfortunately, I wish people would more, but
If you have a skill, a lot of times you can barter with places like that. I have definitely done, a year's worth of free haircuts to get work done on stuff,
oh
that we
yeah, I
needed.
used to do a lot of that stuff. Actually, I got 3 of my past vehicles that way.
Especially if you're in the service and you have a skill, which I know you have many apparently. he's
Yeah, well, I do all sorts
he's
of
a
home
handy dandy do
repairs.
it all kind of guy.
Yeah, I can do all sorts of home repair stuff. About the only thing I don't deal with is the heating and air conditioning system.
I miss my handy guy so much. We had a fella. Uh, we called him Hippie. That was not his name, but what that was him. That was him. He was our friend, and he could do anything. Plumbing. He could do the wood. He could do. I mean, anything. He would
Yep.
usually get a little help when he was doing electricity, only for safety's sake to make sure he was not breaking any rules or anything. But when he passed, my house started falling apart. That's why I'm having to do all these repairs now because they haven't been kept up over the years, and because
Yeah,
I
well, if you
can't
lived
do that.
closer, I'd come and help you, but
Yeah, I'm a long way from you, sweetie.
yeah.
I figured out the distance between here and Missouri. Uh, was talking to Nadine the other day about pheasant, and it's like, yeah, from here to there is 12 hours. That's it. And that's only to there from here because Oklahoma and Arkansas are in the way.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much I have to drive across Wisconsin to get anywhere.
Yeah, I've been as far north as Ohio, but we weren't there for very long, so it was just a day or two. We spent more time on the road than we did actually at the destination, which was loads of fun.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, Ohio is just a vast, empty, boring expanse.
Nerdy says just move. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I am moving soon to a different house, but I'm
I
not
want to
leaving
move. I need
Texas.
to get out of this town.
I'm not leaving Texas. If I leave, who's going to turn it blue? you know,
There you
Texas
go.
needs me right now. Texas needs me really bad right now.
Besides, it gives you a shorter drive to Faithless Forum.
right? See, I am dead center between, well, I'm a tiny bit closer to Houston than I am to Dallas, but it's basically the same distance. I'm halfway between. So if you can get to, sometimes it's cheaper to fly to Houston Airport than it is to Dallas, or sometimes it just depends on which airline you're going in. So I'm gonna do my dangest to be there. If we sit here and get a date so I could actually make the plan and have that time reserved.
Yeah. Don't worry, Mr. Shadow Kitty. I wouldn't compromise anything on the safety of it. It's just a question of if I have to replace the whole thing with a preformed line or bend a whole new one, or if maybe I can just patch in a section in the middle and not replace the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you haven't gotten this far by being stupid about safety stuff. Good job. Nerdy wants everyone to come to England. You know what? People make fun of me for the way I talk, even where I live. I think if I came to England, they wouldn't be able to understand me at all. Or they would laugh every time I open my mouth, which is.
Oh, I think I could deal with England.
And then I would start absorbing the accent, and then I would sound like an East Texas.
Yeah, I
Brit.
think at this point I've pretty much lost any discernible accent, but before I went to New York, I'd lived in Minnesota for 25 years, so I'd picked up that accent. And when I went to New York, then everybody thought that I was Canadian.
Dave says I'd be exotic. No. I look just like everybody else. I just sound different.
Oh, in England,
No.
they would consider you exotic.
Oh, hey,
You
Bob.
wouldn't sound like
Everybody,
Bob,
everybody. Hi, Bub.
my
Thanks for
spicy
joining us. How
bear.
you doing?
oh,
I think he hates it when I
I'm
call him that.
working
So
on
that's why I do it.
coffee, so I'll be great soon.
Okay, you just waking up too?
A little bit, yeah. How's everybody's morning?
It's noon now, so I survived it.
Yeah,
I made it through. Woo!
I don't like to deal with the mornings.
It's that waking
Yeah.
up thing, you know.
I'm not a
But
fan either,
don't leave me.
especially after I sleep poorly.
Yeah, well,
I did not sleep very bueno last night, so.
I literally did not sleep at all. I laid down for 4 hours and never fell asleep.
That's not good.
I used to have to do that on purpose once in a while, just stay up all night, and then I could, for the next week or two or so, sleep just fine. But I think maybe I sleep too much sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, even though it happened last night, there's no guarantee it won't happen again tonight.
Yeah, I play solitaire. Knocks me out every time.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I wish I could find something that would just slow my brain down so it would actually just go to sleep, and I can't find anything that works reliably.
It's not a slowdown. It's a focus on one thing. That's what does it for me. Because if I'm playing the online, because it's Pogo online
Yeah.
solitaire, click, 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 as fast as you can, or as focused because you have to focus, but everything else gets kind of tuned out, and then my eyes start watering, and next thing I know, I'm going like that. It's like, okay, time to stop, go to sleep now, and it works every time, just about.
Yeah, that's basically all I was doing for 4 hours was pretty much a meditation that, I can reach a stage that I kind of feel detached and I'm not really aware of my body anymore, but the hearing, I can't shut off the hearing and always picking things up.
That's yeah. It's
So
got to be quiet in my house for me to sleep.
that's why I tend to, being quiet doesn't work at all for me. That's why I usually leave a playlist on the computer running just because having familiar voices is better than it being too quiet. Because if it's too quiet, then I'm picking up all the little background noises in the building.
Ain't that cool? We're all so different, but we have the same problems. There's got to be an approach to everything by any direction, you know. I'm gonna
Yeah,
shut up
well,
for a little bit. I feel like I'm talking too much. Go ahead, y'all.
So,
Oh,
do you mind if I make a quick advertisement, Purple?
sure, go ahead. What you got coming up?
Actually, it's what I've already got up on my gaming channel just went. The first video, like actual video, just went live like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So you
me
kick that off.
playing. It's me playing Sonic the Hedgehog, from the Sega Genesis.
Groovy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went retro.
That's funny. Yeah, Nadine made me get on and watch her play a game last night. I'm not really a good video gamer because I kind of dropped out after Nintendo. The kids were like, I hate those things. You'll stop. It's all you ever do. But she was playing an old, I think she said it was an old DOS game called Afterlife. And you have to build up your heaven and your hell for points and souls and stuff. It was wild.
I remember when I was younger, there was this game where you played as a god. It was called Black and White. It was amazing. I
Really?
tried so hard, so many times to be a benevolent god, but it's just
It's
so
hard.
easy to go the route of Yahweh.
A friend of mine showed me that
That's
game. I
'cause
never
that's the
actually got to
human
play
way.
it, but I remember that one. But yeah, from everything I heard about it, the game seemed pretty much rigged, but you just advance so much faster if you went
If you're
with the
vengeful.
wrathful vengeance.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, in the first one, you're literally fighting against the most powerful, basically malevolent god. So you kind of have to. It's not a Obi-Wan Anakin where you get to, more or less be an avatar of the light and win. Like, come on.
I have never played a first, I can't what they call it, first person games where you're the person with the gun type thing is what they call that. I've not ever played anything like that because number one, I
First-person
don't want to
shooters.
shoot anything. I'm a big old chicken. I don't want to shoot nothing because they're gonna be shooting back at me. Uh, I
You're
don't know.
not
I
going to
just
like the other game I'm playing on my channel.
the last. I mean, I have an Xbox 360 with the Kinect camera, and I bought some of those. You know, it's like a driving game, but you're on a river on a raft, and you got to jump up and down and flap your arms and stuff like that. We had a little fun with that when I first got it, but then all the children left, and I hadn't touched it. Like I'm not going to do this by myself. The Biggest Loser game tried to kill me, so I only did it a couple times. Uh, so I remember playing Nintendo and being like airplanes and shooting at tanks and stuff on the ground, and like you're talking about the Mario and the fun little go-kart games, like kid games, I guess is what you call them now, kid games. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I don't understand it. I will come and watch just to see if it's interesting, but there's lots of blood and guts.
actually, Sonic was where I stopped. That was the last time I did any amount of video gaming was when Sloth Girl had gotten the original Genesis system. So how many years ago was that?
Yeah,
Maybe about
I know.
1990 or so.
I'm old. I can freely admit that I'm getting old. So at least I'm lucky enough to have come from the generation that got to have that both. Like I had a rotary phone and I've had a cell phone, and in between I got to have Pong and Atari and
Me too.
Commodore 64s and the little my
Mhm.
geeky boyfriend had an actual computer and played the DOS games, and I got to watch my father's banking business go digital and stuff like that. So it did scare me real bad. Like my mother was terrified. She didn't want to even touch the computer. We used to tease her, "Were you afraid of going to zap you or something?" What? And she's like, "No, but I'll break it because I don't know what I'm doing." We're like, "Mom, you can't break it. You literally can't break it."
I mean, you literally can.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no possible way that woman could have ever broken a computer. If we could have just got her to play solitaire once, but no, she would stand over Dad's shoulder and watch him play solitaire. And go, put the red one over there, put the red one over there. It was the best thing.
Yeah. Well, I know what you
That's-
mean. I've gone through the whole thing too. I actually learned to type on a manual typewriter.
Yeah, took
You
that
know,
took
and
that class in school.
yeah, the
Yep,
same
me
thing
too.
with just trying to get my mother comfortable with the idea of using a computer as a word processor, and it's like, yeah, she's got it there, but she still doesn't use it.
I had to type out book reports in school on a typewriter.
Yep.
Cool. Ew. Stay in school, kids, but it does suck.
Yeah. I need to
Stay
get
in
more of my
school,
stuff
man.
typed up, but unfortunately, right now, I got 3 of my fingers truncated in a saw accident, so now I only have 1 finger on the right hand long enough to type with, and that really slows me down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ay caramba.
There's a lot of no true Scotsmen in the chat right now. Of course,
Throw
I
'em up,
think
we're
Rudy
having
Roden wants
fisticuffs.
to throw hands with me pretty bad.
You said fisticuffs. That's funny.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
did
think some
start
of the
with the
first.
Commodore 64.
I
Yeah,
had
me
one,
too,
but I
pretty
was
much.
no good at it. My parents wouldn't buy us the little cartridges that had already had the games and the programs and stuff. They wanted us to learn how to make our own programs and do the coding. So I managed, it took me like a month and a half to get all the way through one of the things in the back of the book to make the little asteroid thing go like this across the screen.
Yeah.
And it was like that fast too. And you had to shoot it.
Well, I couldn't really afford the cartridges, so mostly I was typing in the programs from the magazines.
Yeah, they were expensive if I remember correctly. The cartridges were like really expensive. I couldn't tell you how much, but if my parents weren't going to buy one, and they bought the computer, but I think they didn't realize what the cartridges were going to cost with it. I don't know. It was kind of one of those. Yeah, here you can have this, but that's it.
Yeah, I remember from when I got my first one, it was probably a good 4 or 5 years before I could afford to get a disk drive for it, so I just had the cassette player.
Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about the cassette player. Okay. Yeah. I didn't forget about all cassette players, just that particular one. I don't know. My dad is the one that got me into computers. He's bought me my first computer, paid for my first internet thing, and now he just all he can do is check his bank balance. You know, that's it.
Mobile
He doesn't check
gamers
his
are
email or
heathens.
anything anymore. He just quit.
Yeah.
And he has a Facebook page. Once every 3 years or so, he'll post some random weirdness on there, and everybody like, Bruce, are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong? So I'm glad I'm not scared of technology. Oh, good news!
Yeah.
I learned how to record my stupid self on the computer with music. I'm so proud. Still can't edit videos yet, but I'll get there.
See, I think it's funny because you said you're not scared of technology, and I just had that clip of Yoda talking to Luke on Dagobah after he said, "I'm not afraid." He's like, "Oh, you will be."
Oh yeah, that's the last Star Wars movie I ever saw.
What?
I'm pretty sure that's Return of the Jedi, right? Or Empire Strikes Back. Oh, that's Empire Strikes Back.
No, that's Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Return
Empire.
of the Jedi is the one with the Ewoks in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's the last one I saw.
The Ewoks, contrary to popular opinion, not Lucas's idea. Fox wanted something cheap to market. Fuckers.
It worked.
Yeah. The kids love them.
I heard
There
I
was a
heard
whole
they were
lot of
actually supposed to be Wookiees originally,
Yeah.
but they didn't
In
have the
Lucas's
budget.
original story, they were, but
Yeah, but they didn't have the budget to have that many people in Wookiee outfits, so they got little people instead. And the suits were a lot cheaper because they were a lot smaller.
Yeah, what I heard was it wasn't so much a budget issue, but by that time they had established, that Chewbacca was so comfortable with the technology that a primitive tribe of Wookiees didn't seem to fit anymore.
I'm trying to
That could
decide
have
if
been
I want to
another
like
factor.
Wookiees better than Ewoks. I don't know.
I
I
think
was
the big
already in love with
thing,
Chewbacca.
I
So
think the big thing was marketing. Fox is a bunch of greedy bastards.
Yeah,
yeah, and there was a gazillion kids dressed as Ewoks for Halloween that year too.
well, and
You
it
know?
wasn't just Fox. I mean, that's how Lucas made his money, is he understood about the merchandising. He understood that the movies were selling toys.
Yeah, still putting most of that blame on Fox.
If you
Ironically,
mention
I'm
Star
actually
Wars
okay
so
with
much, something furry will show up.
I get a kick out of people who think Hollywood is supposed to have some sort of integrity in their creations. It's all about the money, man. They don't give a rat's behind if their science is real or if you know, they want to do what they think the most people will be happy about. So there's no
Yeah,
integrity. There is no integrity in that I've seen, unless you get into like some of the independent stuff. But that big box office stuff is money, money,
well, yeah,
money.
the major studios are just looking for, what's going to get the most people in. How are they going to sell the most tickets?
There's a whole nother Adams Family movie out coming out, and it's animated or whatever. And it's like, really, we're gonna? I watched that when I was a kid. We're
so
gonna
did
beat
I.
this
Beat my
to
childhood
death or
on.
what? Is there nothing new in the universe? Please.
Well, there's plenty new in the universe. The problem is that corporations like Disney, and they're definitely the biggest example of this. They're after a safe bet, and what's safer than something that's already worked?
Yep.
That's why they're doing all these reboots.
And the
Yeah, they
kids
want to
that are
go with
watching
a
it
proven
now,
franchise.
yeah, and the kids that are watching it now don't remember the originals or don't haven't seen
Because they
them.
weren't alive.
Yeah.
Well, no,
So
some of the
I
stuff
make my
they're
kids watch
rebooting, the
stuff.
originals were, only wrapped up like 5 years before.
Yeah.
But again, that was
Hmm.
part of the Disney model from the start. Was their classic movies they'd re-release to the theaters every 7 years
Yeah.
because they figured by that time the kids who had seen it before were teenagers, but there was a new crop of kids.
I make my kids watch the old stuff. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I mean,
They
there's a
haven't.
difference between re-releasing to theaters for a new generation and just
Remaking it.
scrapping it and redoing it in
Yeah,
a slightly
Yeah.
different way.
yeah,
Which is exactly
no,
what
I
you
agree. There's been so many reboots of series, and it's like I can't think of any of them that have worked.
Yeah, my childhood's over there in a corner crying and
Yeah,
rocking around in the fetal position from all the butchery of my childhood memories.
There's decent stuff out there now, but you have to be kind of picky. But you always had to be picky. I mean, if you have kids and you want to feed them something from a screen, you gotta be as careful about what you feed their brain as what you feed their mouth. So yeah, so I don't hate Disney. Disney's just kind of annoying in my life because they really like that kind of stuff, and I'm fine with fairy tales. I don't care if the princess lives happily ever after. That's awesome. It's a story. It's a perfect way to teach your kids the difference between fantasy and reality. It really is. Mommy,
Yeah.
why did Elsa do this, that, and the other? Honey, because she's a cartoon and she can, and it's not real. you know.
yeah,
So the same way with the coyote and the roadrunner. When I was a kid, you had to learn that you can't drop an anvil on your head; it'll kill you. You know, it's not real. That's why I say they don't have to really have any integrity in anything like that because they can like you said, just trash it and redo it, and that's. I do agree with the re-releasing of the old stuff, but I make them watch it anyway. That's the kind of stuff I buy. It's the kind of stuff I already had. So most of it's on VHS now. I'm having to convert.
Yeah, I ran into that was, just when I moved here from New York, just had to reduce stuff anyway, so decided that was the time to give up on all the VHS tapes.
I can't get rid of them.
Well, I just
For
gave them
some
all away to
reason.
friends, but then I've been stuck having to rebuy all the movies I really liked, which hasn't been too bad because a good number of them I wind up finding in the $5 bin at Walmart.
There you go.
Orla, I love the Addams Family too, and I actually constructed a Cousin It costume a few years back, and head to toe hair. It was freaking awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now I remember watching the original Addams Family on TV after school because that was one of the shows that they had syndicated cheap so the local channel could play it all the time.
Yep. Yeah, because by the time I was old enough to be interested in it, it was already, like you said, in syndication, and it was on. And it was one of the shows my mom would actually let me watch. She was real picky about how long we could sit in front of the TV. She didn't really care about what we were watching so much as
Hey,
how
Pirate
long we
Kitty.
sat in front. She would, because back then they still thought it would ruin your eyes if you watched television too long.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And the old anti-masturbation, you'll go blind thing doesn't work either. I've been doing that for like 23 years.
Right.
But
You do wear glasses, so
I was going to say my glasses have gotten pretty
Yeah.
thick now.
but I'm not blind. I can still see. I have a little
It
trouble
doesn't say
reading
it'll make
tiny
you
little
blind. It
text,
says
but
it'll make you go blind. It's a slow
yeah, so you could be slowly going blind.
We do know the Harry Palms thing is strictly a myth, though, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, a myth, completely,
Sure.
for sure.
Oh. But yeah. Not blind, just nearsighted.
Yeah.
Not pretending is blind.
Yo,
And I
me
have
too, actually.
Astigmatism in one of my eyes. Can't remember which.
Yeah,
well,
I have
I've
astigmatism
had
in both.
bifocals since I was 25, so
I wore
I've
glasses
needed
forever.
glasses since I was like 21 or 22, but haven't had them.
yeah. Well, I needed the regular
I just live
glasses
without 'em.
started when I was like 10 or 11. Actually, probably needed them earlier than that. That's just when they finally figured it out. Because in school, even sitting in the front row, I couldn't read the blackboard.
Oh my, are you watching the chat?
Oh.
Safety glasses. Okay. I'm not reading that out loud.
Did
I
eye
don't think I
protection if
can
you're
without
doing
laughing. Huh?
it? You need eye protection if you're doing it right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
before that, Orla says you're not doing it right. You need a glass angle dildo.
All right.
Okay.
I can't say it out loud. I said it quietly. I said it very quietly.
Oh, hell.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Boy, that went to the gutter real quick, didn't it?
Oh, dear.
For the course with purple streams.
Twisted mind.
I'm
Think alike.
wondering what this is that Nerdy's posting for later and if I dare open the link.
I mean, I've got
Oh,
Oh, dear.
I'm scared.
which means everything is muted, so I'm not too worried about clicking it. Because if it's porn,
Okay.
you're not gonna
No,
hear
it's not bad. It's one of the old Roadrunner cartoons.
Oh.
it.
Meep.
No.
My kids still like Tom and Jerry. They still play Tom and Jerry, which cracks me up. And they play a lot of the old ones too. They've come out with made some newer ones, but It's mostly the old Tom and Jerry, and it tickles me that they like that. They'll pick that over SpongeBob, which is cool. I like SpongeBob. SpongeBob's actually kind of funny in a stupid
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead kind of way, you know.
I never liked SpongeBob. He's just too crude.
Crude?
How's it crude?
Wait a minute.
What?
That's what.
What alternative universe are you living in? Where
Well, you
SpongeBob
know,
is
it's
crude?
a lot of fart jokes and trash like that, and it's just, you
Children
know,
are crude. That's
it's
why
very
they like
base
it.
humor.
Of course it is. That's why.
Literally all of it sails over a kid's head.
What?
It's all of those jokes sail over a kid's head. It's there for the adults who have to put up with it.
There's
Yeah.
both. Yes, that's why I couldn't get into it because it's funny for when I'm
Well,
watching it. And
there are
it's funny
certain
when they're
things that I
watching it.
just didn't want to put up with, and I changed the channel, including SpongeBob and Barney the Purple Dinosaur.
Aw, poor
I-
Barney. He gets a bad
I
rap.
don't mind the crude humor of SpongeBob. What really turned me off, other than seeing the show at all, was SpongeBob going, "I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready." Shut the fuck up! I get it. It's too early in the morning for this. It's 6 in the evening, Ben. I don't care. It's too early for this.
Yeah.
I still have to relate to little kids, so I think that's why. I think that's the difference. I must be able to relate to the small ones at this stage of the game, and I think that's why I'm easily entertained.
Yeah, see, I just always work to bring them up to my level quicker.
They'll be grown-ups most of their life. I'm gonna let them be kids and have some fun. So I'm I had to grow up really fast, so it wasn't a lot of fun. So I'm gonna let them have some fun. They're little.
Yeah.
I think kids should be incubated in factories until they're 18.
Oh gosh, no, that's what homeschooling is. That's terrible. They have
No,
to
I'm
learn.
kidding.
They have to learn about the world by being in the world
Yes,
and
they sure do.
so that's why I think that sheltering them too much is a disservice.
Oh, very, very bad.
Had that discussion with my ex. We talked about homeschooling, and that was actually one of my, what I was concerned about wasn't so much the education, was that school gave them the experience of dealing with an authority other than the parents
Right?
and learning how to deal with their own peers, people their own age.
Exactly. Social skills
And
are
I was
super
concerned
important.
that not having that socialization was more of a handicap, and we could fill in the gaps in the education. But then again, I see what passes for education in some states, and I'm like, you know, yeah, I don't get what some people get out of school, you know, how they graduate with what they've learned, and how the schools keep going on with this. And
Well, the only thing more screwed up in this country is than our healthcare system is our education system. So there's that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Iowa's
there's
pretty
Badger.
bad. Or was.
Yep. They had warned us
I
if
don't
we
know if
talked
they.
about Star Wars too much, Badger was going to show up.
Oh, yep, there he is.
I'm gonna
Is that like a
show up
spell?
and complain about the new trilogy.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, the problem is that Badger knows all the new stuff, and I haven't seen any of the new stuff, so I don't know half of what he's talking about.
No, that's why we weren't on the subject very long, I think. We're all like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I
don't know how well you
completely
can
gave
see
up
him.
on Star Wars after Jar Jar. I haven't seen any of the new movies.
Jar Jar was a mistake. The whole Gungan race was a mistake.
Yeah. So about the only thing I know about any of the new stuff is what came out as Lego sets.
I don't know. I
Those-
actually kind of liked the other Gungans. Those just Jar Jar I didn't really like. The more serious Gungans I thought were actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but
Is that the thing with
they
the?
were
But
really
I
pretty
like
unnecessary.
aliens. Yeah, unnecessary, but I like aliens.
I
Yeah,
do
And
too.
really alien aliens. You know, the less human looking they are, the better.
Stay
I
away
mean,
from a YouTube channel called Generation Tech. They've got a really strong pro-human bias.
Oh, really? What?
Strong pro-human bias.
Oh.
yeah, but have you seen humans?
No, I
I
get what
am
you're
one.
saying.
I
I like
mean,
aliens
have
too
you
because
seen
they can
them?
be anything. They can be anything the artist can imagine. That's why I like aliens too.
yeah. I wish I
The
could
Yeah,
draw
yeah.
cantina
because I've.
scene in the first Star Wars was my favorite part of the whole movie. Like that was just the best thing. It's like, oh my god, look at that thing! Oh my god, look at that thing! Oh my god. I was
I really
10 or
wish
11 or something. I think maybe. Yeah,
the
that
old
was good.
movies would have featured the Mongol Amari a little more strongly.
That was we had never seen anything like that. That was cutting edge special effects back then, and it
Yeah.
was
Oh
amazing.
yeah.
It
Well,
was
and
They
that's what I
broke
amazing.
find that
ground with a
people
lot of
don't get
stuff.
now was that when the original Star Wars came out in theaters, the special effects were so dazzling that we didn't notice the plot holes.
They were
It
plot
wasn't
holes.
Yeah.
until you were watching the movie for the fourth or fifth time that you noticed that, the story is really only mediocre.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
As a
and it's
kid,
a
you're not paying that much attention to the story. That's why fairy tales are the way they are, because you just get the high points. You know? Here's the good
it,
guy. Here's the bad guy. Good guy, bad guy fight. Good guy gets the girl.
Yeah,
well, and it's a classic actually fantasy story too. You got the young white knight, the damsel in distress, sort of. Actually, she took care of herself pretty damn well, really. Um, and you had the evil Black Knight and the evil Overlord, and then you got the old wizard and Obi-Wan, and
Very King
it's
Arthur type stuff.
yeah, and the lightsaber, it's Excalibur. I mean, come on. So yeah, it's really a fantasy tale, not really a sci-fi movie. Science fiction is just sort of the setting. It's just a setting. It's not even really part of the plot.
yeah. I actually felt it was more like a western, but
A little bit of
Well, if
that
you
too,
think about
definitely.
it, they all
Well,
have the same basic plot
yeah,
line. Good guy, bad guy,
yeah,
a prize at the end. Whatever the prize is. If it's a woman, if it's saving the world, if it's saving the orphanage, if it's,
yeah. A
prize at the
western
end.
is
Good wins.
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. It's just once again the setting then would be the time and technology of the era for westerns
I call
too. So yeah, it's all the same.
yeah. Well, they took from different things.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
lots of
wishy
different
washy. I
things.
call it both. I think it's sci-fi and fantasy
Yeah.
because
Well, like
to
Yeah,
me, what sci-fi is fantasy.
the
So
attack on the Death Star was pretty much taken frame for frame from a World War II movie.
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of the fighting sequences, I think, were too, or at least advancements on it, because wasn't it before Star Wars? Whenever they had a
Oh,
flying like plane, it was usually a still shot with the plane flying across the screen. Switch to another angle, plane
yeah.
flies again.
Hello, Badger.
Whereas later they were able to actually follow the plane with the camera and take
yeah,
Yeah.
longer
Well,
shots, longer sequences.
that was actually one of Lucas's, one of his new techniques that no one else had used
Yeah.
was
It's
that he actually had like the model and the camera on a trolley that rode on the same track so that the camera could follow the model for a longer distance.
Is this
Yeah.
thing on?
It is.
Nope.
We hear you, Badger.
Hey, Badger.
Right, Mr. Critical Cripple. I see you there in the chat. No, Disney does not make the best Star Wars films. In fact, Disney does not make Star Wars films. They make cheap Star Wars rip-offs.
Well, we knew it was coming, didn't we?
Well,
Tell us how
that's
you
pretty
really
much
feel.
a fill in the blank. That Disney does cheap whatever rip-offs is about all they do anymore.
So, apparently I've been summoned by someone talking about Star Wars in a live stream, so hello.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like a spell spoken out into the universe that summons the Badger.
It's like you're the Bloody Mary of Star Wars.
I was just waiting for you to get here to say I like Star Trek better. So
You see, for a
Oh
lot
boy.
for some people that'd be a thing, but I like both. I enjoy both.
I do
I'm
too.
a bit more of a Star Wars chap than a Star Trek chap, but I like a bit of both.
that's awesome. There are people who would fight me for that, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking
No,
of
I can
fisticuffs,
enjoy both of them, but also with the Star Trek, that there are
Not the
certain
recent
parts
Star
of the
Trek either,
franchise
though.
I enjoy more than others. I
Not
can
so
never
much
really
with the
get into
recent
Deep
Star Trek
Space
either.
Nine.
I like I like Deep Space Nine.
Richard, I think you're good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't care for Deep Space Nine or Voyager, and I know it was unpopular with most people, but I actually liked Enterprise.
I did too.
I liked it too.
I didn't.
I
The only
like
one I
them all.
haven't
dislike
seen is the
Enterprise.
newest one. The new, what is it, Discovery or something? That's the
I
only one I
didn't-
haven't seen, and it's because I would have had to subscribe to something and pay for it to watch
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah, same here.
I didn't dislike Enterprise, but I didn't get it. It didn't grab me. I didn't keep watching it after a while.
It didn't last very long. It really doesn't have to grab you for very long. What was it, like 5 seasons, I think?
4 seasons, I
4
thought.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't last very long, but it's good. I liked the people in it. I liked the characters,
Mhm.
but it just didn't have a lot of meat to it.
Orla does not care for Enterprise.
Yeah, I didn't get super into Enterprise. I didn't hate Enterprise, but I didn't keep watching Enterprise after
Yeah.
a bit. I watched a bit and kind of went,
Yeah, they
"Oh, Enterprise is on." Okay.
they could have done a bit more with the character development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if they'd had more time, it could have gotten better. But I'm of the school that when Gene Roddenberry passed, Star Trek started doing this. So
Well, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't know. I enjoyed it all.
I'll still watch it, but I'm
really dug.
Orwellian now.
I really dug the last episode of Enterprise. I thought the way they did that was just freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Because the whole time they talked about the chef, but they never had anybody play him. And then Riker goes in and plays him on the holodeck, and I thought that was just brilliant. I loved it.
Yep. I had forgotten about that.
If you want to talk about Discovery, however, I know likey.
Yeah, I haven't got to see it.
I actually
I'm with
really
you,
like
Orla.
Discovery.
I really am. I'm with you, Orla. They did. They changed some of the stories. They changed some of the history, and that really chaps my hiney too, which is why I wasn't really sad when it was over.
But
I watched
Discovery
because it was Star Trek.
Yeah, doing a
yeah,
prequel is
screen
always
a lot.
risky.
It's like, no.
I know what you mean. The
And
thing
the
with
movie
Discovery
doesn't
is,
do,
I took one look at the promotional photos for Discovery, saw that they had some albino Urukai instead of Klingons, and just went, nope.
Urukai.
Yeah, they look like guys. They look like a bleached version of the orcs from Lord of the Rings.
Ah.
And as soon as I saw them, I went, those are not Klingons. I will not watch this series.
I never thought that before, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Saruman's orcs, the Urukai. They look like those
Yep.
bleached.
What? Are you talking about Discovery?
I can
Yeah.
see it.
Discovery
I have
Klingons.
not seen anything Discovery, so I can't
Yeah, I didn't
relate.
see anything beyond the first promos of it because, again, it's like
I-
I wasn't going to be paying the money for getting a single channel.
Yeah, I saw I saw the promotional photos for Discovery and just went, no.
I'm being attacked by a vicious beast, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I'm steady on now.
We've triggered Orla. She's on the war path.
Um,
It's
I
okay.
think
Oh,
Nerdy
dear.
Rodent.
Okay.
I think Nerdy Rodent is trying to get me to go on a rampage in the chat.
Wouldn't be at all surprised.
Well,
She
see,
started the
a
paper
lot of
again. I'm
a
sorry.
lot of
Go
that
ahead, Doc.
stuff kind of bugs me too about the changes they made, but ultimately, I just sort of I don't know, isolated it and just watched it, and I got into it. So
Well, and
kind
that's
of
what
in and
they've
of
done
itself,
now is that, they went and said it's a different continuum, so it's completely
yeah.
isolated from all the other stuff. And it's like, yeah,
They
well,
can
then,
always do that when they screw up too much.
yeah. Yeah, that seemed like such a cop out. It's
Yeah,
like,
I think
Yeah.
what they need to do with Discovery is go, this is an alternate universe. We will never reference it again.
yeah.
It's the
They
same.
could-
It's the same. It's very much the
They
same as
could
my view
nuke it.
on. No, they could. It's very much the same as my view on what they should do with the new Star Wars films. You know, the Disney ripoffs. What I think they should do is in this new one, The Rise of Skywalker. Skywalker, as in Luke Skywalker, should rise from his bed on in the Jedi Temple on Yavin. Look around and go, "Oh, what a terrible dream!"
Dallas style.
Yeah.
And then they should carry on with the real expanded universe, like they should have done in the first place.
Yeah, it's like you hate
You-
when they do that, but sometimes they do it so badly you wish they would.
Yeah, that's to me. I think the only way they could not split the thing in the community in half anymore. Although then they will create a new split in the community
Yeah.
if they did that.
Now, Badger, you have heard of an old primetime sort of soap opera called Dallas, right?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. Do you remember that, Angie? Or you're muted right now, but
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just got a
you were muted.
message I had to deal with. Go ahead. What'd you say?
But do you remember Dallas?
Oh my gosh, yes. My
So,
dad has body viewing. Yeah, so
So Badger wants to Dallas Star Trek Discovery. Or whatever, or well, no, not Discovery, Star Wars. The new.
Well,
he wants to
and
Dallas
Discovery.
the new Star Wars and Discovery, yeah.
You
Where
want to
Luke
Dallas it?
Skywalker just wakes up and says, "Oh, well, that was a bad dream."
Oh,
You know.
Literally, that's what I want to do. I want
you
Luke
might as well
Skywalker
jump a
in the next-
shark.
I want Luke Skywalker to wake up in the Jedi Temple on Yavin and go, "Oh, that was a weird dream. I'm glad that didn't happen."
It's been
He should
done,
just
and it
wake
was
up and
very
say, "What a horrible nightmare! I dreamt we were bought by Disney."
Yeah.
Even better, he goes on a solo crusade, leaves the Jedi Temple, and hunts down Mike. Shit, he's probably not even the president anymore. I was gonna say Michael Eisner, the president of Disney. Is he even the president anymore?
I've got no clue who's running things
I
there.
don't keep track of Disney.
Yeah.
Only
Instead he hunts him down.
Only interest I have in Disney these days is I want them out of my Star Wars.
Purple, I'm really sorry. I have got to go. I have to go deal with something.
Oh no!
I will try and get back before you're done, but I can't promise. But thank you for having me.
Oh, that's okay. Yep.
I've enjoyed it
Appreciate you
very
coming
much.
in.
I love y'all.
Yep, good to see you
Sometimes
Good
you
to
gotta
again.
meet
go
you
and do
soon,
real
MJ.
life.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Seeing what Nerdy Rodent's putting in the chat here.
Oh,
You're going to
dear.
get yourself a slap, son.
Sheer cinematic genius.
I will come round your
I,
house and do crowd work in your bathroom.
I do have to admit, Badger, I've been facetious about it before, but I actually do like the new Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have my misgivings about it too, but I really find stuff I like about it too. But
I can
I don't know.
find
Maybe I'm just an optimist, and I just find things I like about things.
I can find stuff I like about it. Like visually, it's really nice. I think a lot of the visual effects people are probably people who are very long-time fans of Star Wars, and are just really pleased to be working on anything Star Wars. So visually, a lot of the new films are really, really well done, and there's some beautiful shots in them. Unfortunately, I can't get into the story. I'm just there going, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah. Well, like I say, that's kind of why I gave up on the whole franchise. Is I just, to me, the story and characters are really everything. I can pretty much overlook anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I'm mostly overlooking the stuff that, even like I said, the stuff I have misgivings about myself, but
yeah. Well, and like with Star Wars, it was more than just Jar Jar. It was kind of the whole young Vader thing. I don't think they did very well.
Yeah, generally I agree. Yeah, it seems like
I think they kind of ruined his character too, and that really kind of put me off it.
They squandered a lot of potential there, I think.
Yeah.
There's some stuff with that they did well, but Lucas was never very good at dialogue and directing the actors to act. So he ended up with a lot of very flat dialogue.
Yeah.
That wasn't super well written. Stuff like I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
Well, I mean, he is an awkward teenager, so being awkward in that situation makes perfect sense.
It's awkward, but there's an awkward teenager.
Every time I hear it.
Yeah, there's awkward teenager, and then there's someone awkwardly trying to read poorly written awkward teenager dialogue. But there are things that were done well about that, and I don't think that Hayden Christensen was a bad actor. I think he was not directed well and not given good material to work with, and I think he did the best he could with what he had to work with.
Yeah. No, I would agree that I just, it wasn't the actor's fault so much.
I think there's a really good story in there. It's just there's some issues with how it was told.
Yeah.
Yeah. Its execution needed a little work. And maybe it needed a lot of polish.
Well, I mean, the prequel trilogy was probably always going to be seen as more boring, even though literally half of it took place during the Clone Wars. It's a lot of politics, and that shit's boring to watch.
It can be. The thing is, it can be boring to watch, but also it gives you a lot of story.
Yeah.
And a lot of the expanded universe stuff that is offshoots from the prequel films is really good.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't exist without that framework.
You can't do political drama as well. I mean, there's The West Wing is a personal favorite of mine. I love the show Designated Survivor, so you can do it right. It can just be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
The politics can be interesting, if they put a bit more of it in the story, that you see the behind the scenes scheming and that more.
You frame it so that it's more clear what's going on.
Yeah.
Now Nerdy's trying to get me to throw hands again. Han did shoot first in the original cut.
What's this?
Nerdy's saying Han didn't shoot.
Oh dear.
You what?
In the original cut, he did, but
No,
years
Han did
later,
shoot first. Han always shoots first. Han is the first shooter that shoots first in all first shooting situations.
yeah, and the first time he shot first was in Solo.
If he was up against a bounty hunter there, it's kind of like if Greedo shot first, Han wouldn't have had a chance to shoot back.
Unless Greedo's an awful shot, which Lucas made him.
Greedo is not.
He was sitting across the table from him. How can anybody miss at that range?
Greedo is not a super competent character, but
Plot armor.
Greedo is not a super competent character, even in the expanded sources. But making him that incompetent really does make the whole situation entirely non-threatening.
And the whole having Han shoot second re-edit was just to make him more likable. Because they thought it made him too callous.
Yeah, but I thought it was a better character arc, that he did shoot first, because, then you've got a better redemption thing of him actually becoming a hero when he started out as a slime ball.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the edit where Alderaan shot first?
God.
No.
Right, 1
I
second.
think I have seen that.
Oh, Christ.
I mute myself a sec so you can hear my keyboard clack-a-lacking.
Oh.
Orla said Freddy Krueger should be the next Disney princess. And
Yeah, I didn't know they owned that Disney owned Nightmare on Elm Street. That's kind of shocking.
oh, I didn't realize they'd pick that up. I did hear that they had bought Rocky Horror, so that made Frankenfurter a Disney princess.
They own Rocky Horror now?
That's what I had heard. And yeah, it's like
that's some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah, it's like, what can they possibly do with it?
Apparently, Fox made a TV reboot of it. I can't find it anywhere, but
I'm already beginning to imagine the cartoon Disney remake of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can make this work. Give me a second.
Oh dear.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. You're a smart badger.
Right, if I do that, and then I go here, can you see that?
Okay, yep, we see what looks like a planet.
Here we go.
Okay.
Well. And Orla's right. Disney does own MASH now, so
they own MASH? What the?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a Fox property, dude. Disney bought Fox a long time ago.
Disney's bought everything. I think
Disney bought Fox?
Broken up.
Yeah, 3
I didn't know
years
they
ago.
bought Fox.
Yeah.
Oh
3 years
shit.
ago, man. So Corporal Klinger is a Disney princess.
Yeah, well,
Klinger's been around literally the whole time too.
Klinger can pull it off, especially when he did the Statue of Liberty thing.
So I can't remember what episode it was. It's somewhere in the first or second season, but Klinger's bringing Hawkeye the mail, and he's wearing a white dress. And I think it might be a wedding dress, actually.
Yeah, he's got a wedding dress in one episode. I remember that.
And Hawkeye's like, Klinger, can I give you a couple suggestions? Sure thing, sir. First of all, it's gorgeous. You hit just the right thing, and it's not gaudy. but you must wear a slip. I can see everything. Oh, God.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't remember that line.
Amazing. I think
Mash
when
was
you
so
wondered,
awesome.
he was getting looked all day. Great show. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
It's
MASH was one of the few that truly grew into its potential, and that the series actually was better than the movie it was made from.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, it was actually made to protest the Vietnam War, right?
huh. I didn't know
The
that.
movie was.
I know it lasted longer than the actual Korean War.
Oh, yeah. The Korean War was 2 years long. The MASH TV series ran for like 9 seasons, I think. Not sure how many Christmas episodes there were in that run.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Great show. I loved it. Including the episodes where Alan Alda started directing and it got preachy. Fuck you, Family Guy.
He started the what?
He started directing and the show got a little more preachy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I was okay with those two.
It's protesting a war. Let's guess what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Speaking of, oh no, hang on, I clicked the wrong thing.
What's that, Badger?
There it is. I clicked the wrong thing. I started playing a YouTube video instead of looking at the chat. Right. Speaking of war and TV shows, has anyone seen Blackadder?
Yeah, not a lot of it, but
I saw
I
most
love
of
Rowan
it. I know I
Atkinson.
didn't see the whole series.
Remember the World War Blackadder series?
Yeah, somebody was telling me that they've got it on Amazon Prime now, I think.
Oh, they might do. I'm not sure. I haven't got Amazon Prime.
Well, I think it's like with Amazon Prime, you can like buy an edition that's whatever they call it, but it's like all British programming. That's an
Okay.
additional package on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I see it now. Well, the thing with, I forgot why I brought this up. Oh, Blackadder. Yep, that's there's a whole World War comedy hijinks going on, and then it gets to the last sort of episode of that arc. And the last episode is them all going over the top of the trenches and being gunned down by machine gun fire.
Yeah.
Going, oh, this is a lovely comedy show.
Well, and just the discussion just before that it's like
Yeah.
they know this is inevitable, that they're going to go up there and at least 90% going to get killed.
Yeah, just passing Blackadder his command baton. He's there. Like, of course, I wouldn't want to go up against the machine guns without that. And yeah, it was. Why did I bring this up? Oh, yeah. The point. The point was, I think comedy shows can have a message, and the delivery of them needs to be done carefully.
Yeah.
And that I think is an example of the most in the face delivery that you can get away with in a comedy show.
Well, yeah, and only because they did it as the last episode there that,
Yeah.
you know, they couldn't have done that in the middle of the run and have brought it back to
no.
what it was again.
They'll just kill off all the characters. We'll have a new cast starring Desmond Adblacker.
Well, why not? Red Dwarf started off with killing off the entire crew.
It'd be like having a. Oh, what was that? What was that example from the Zero Punctuation? It'd be like having a James Bond film where halfway through James Bond gets killed and replaced by somebody called Bames John.
Now, see, the James Bond thing they could have pulled off so easily by just saying it's a different agent. You know, say that this is 005.
Yeah, well, they did that.
You know,
with,
and they could have
with
pulled
CD.
everything off with all the other characters in place.
Mhm. Or you could even have a series that focuses on his American counterpart, Felix, what's his face?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've watched any of the James Bond films.
I haven't kept up with a lot of things recently, because a lot of things have gone rather downhill recently.
Yeah, well, the last several years I haven't bothered much with TV or movies.
Although I'm not going to say that everything has gone downhill recently. I recently went to see It, Chapter 2, and that was rather good.
Yeah, for me, a lot of a lot of the fun of the stuff was having somebody to discuss it with. So
Mm-hmm.
not having anybody around who's interested in the same kind of stuff I'd like to watch,
You should get
just
people
doesn't
on
seem
the.
to have as much to it.
You should set up like a regular talking thing where you get people on like a live stream with you to discuss things.
Yeah, well, I'd say I should start doing some things on topics that, yeah, maybe we could do kind of like a book club that at least, one day a month we pick that we're all going to watch the same old movie and then we can talk about it.
That'd be a good idea.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get going. For some reason, I can't sign into YouTube. Like the site just signed me out, and I
Oh,
can't sign in. So I'm gonna see if I can't fix that.
yeah, that's weird.
I'll see you later.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye. Ah,
Chat gone.
so. Well, the Blackadder might be a good one. I'd need to go and rewatch that. But that would be a good one to go over.
Hmm.
At one time I had that on DVD, but I haven't been able to find it for years. So, I don't know. Some things seem to have gotten lost in the move. There's stuff that I know I put into the truck in New York that I never saw again since, and I don't remember it ever coming out of the truck.
Maybe it's still in the truck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's traveling the world without you.
I actually think there's a chance that somebody might have gotten into the truck the night before I left and may have swiped a couple of boxes on me.
Swiping your things.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, just because, just a couple of odd things, a set of tools I'm missing and such.
That's no good.
But, yeah, I was not in too good a shape getting out of there. Mentally, I was having a lot of trouble. So, just that I got everything out at all.
Yeah, well, it's not ideal when you've got to get out somewhere in a hurry. And everything goes a bit, tends to go a bit wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was going wrong in every way possible, and I kept getting delayed on finishing my last job there, so it just took too long to get out of there, and I was losing it.
Where's the...
Oh.
So I'm just trying to find something in my files here, and I don't know where I've put the bloody thing.
Oh, okay.
I can never find anything in my file system.
Yeah, Nerdy, I've got the same problem that it's an hour drive to the closest movie theater for me.
There it is.
Yowza.
Switch over to
You
that.
do need to get out of there, perp.
Well, I do, because it's just, there's You know,
We got to
there's
get you to
nothing here,
civilization.
and I don't relate to any of the people here. I'm related to too many of them, and I don't relate to any of them.
Yeah.
I can understand that completely.
Yeah.
Not very close to my extended family.
Yeah, well, this is mostly my immediate family, and it's like, yeah, I only have one of my brothers that I really can deal with for any amount of time.
I'm not close to most of my family these days. There's a few that I'm kind of close with, and everybody else is just kind of floating around off in the world somewhere, and I occasionally hear news about them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way I had been for a long time. That I had found it was better to keep a couple 100 miles between me and most of my family,
Mm-hmm.
and only deal with them once or twice a year, and I was quite comfortable with that.
Yeah, I've been doing something similar. Although, unfortunately, the last time I saw a lot of my extended family was a funeral.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have had too many of those in recent years.
Anyway, something cheerful, I suppose.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to be dragging down that way.
That's all right. It's just good to chat last time. I just thought I'd try and lighten the mood.
Yeah.
Balloons. No? Okay.
Balloons?
Well, what kind of balloons?
Well, I had some experience with red balloons recently.
I actually had
With-
an idea once about building a Zeppelin, but one of my many projects that I,
Zeppelin?
kind of sketched things out for, and it just never got beyond the planning stage. But
That'd be kind of fun.
yeah, it would have been, but would have been sinking a lot of money into something with no practical value.
Well, you could have used it to move house.
Yeah, that was actually part of the idea for it. Was that was a way to get supplies into a location that didn't have decent roads.
Hmm.
Oh.
Ah.
Okay, is there anyone here who gets along with their family?
Doc.
So, some family. I mean, I'm fairly close with my nuclear family, but like anything beyond, there's like my mother and siblings. My dad is dead, but he left when I was like 7 weeks old anyway, so I grew up without a father. Without a father.
Well, I got on with try again. I get on with my mother, and I get on with my uncle. And I get on with my I get on with my dad in the sense that we don't really talk to each other very much, but there's no animosity. It's just he's kind of like me, and I'm a bit weird. So we only really talk to each other if we've actually got something to say.
Yeah, my problem
Right
is my
on.
family can't get over the idea that I'm the youngest, so
Ah.
even though I'm over 50, they still don't really acknowledge that I've grown up.
Okay. Well, although I did discover that my dad had how can I put this? I have two half sisters. And I found out about the second one very soon before she was born because apparently my dad had forgot to tell me that there was going to be another one.
Forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
You didn't notice at some point?
No, we don't live near each other.
Oh.
So when I went to see my dad,
So it didn't happen when you were like growing up.
No, this is more recent. When I went to visit my dad, I got a message from my sister, my already existing half sister. She says, "Oh, I'm gonna have a new sister soon." Look at my dad going, "There's something you haven't told me."
Yeah, that's
He goes, "Oh
kind
yeah."
of a big item, and I think that he probably had a good amount of warning before that happened.
Yeah, it was apparently like 3 weeks away. He's
Yeah,
quite
like
Crazy.
you,
be like,
you
"Oh
could
yeah,
mention this 6 months ago.
oh yeah, I haven't told you that yet, have I?" I went, "No."
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh.
Well, I can totally empathize with you, Purple. I am the youngest of my siblings as well. I will be turning 45 here. What's the date today?
17th.
17th?
Yep.
Okay, so I got just over a week before I turn 45.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm the youngest of all my siblings, so my mother still calls me a baby. I prefer the term veteran child.
Yeah, I still have that problem with my family too, of them referring to me as the baby of the family, and it's like, you don't understand how that seems a little demeaning at this point, huh?
Uh, oh, I don't know. I guess I don't mind it so much. I just don't like to be called Mikey. My real first name is Michael, and I go by Mike or Michael. Either of that is fine, but I just don't like to be called Mikey, and it's because of Life cereal. It's because of the commercial.
Yep,
Oh, I
Know
thought
what I'm
it might be
saying?
because of the.
I can understand that with an icon.
Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. It's why I'm fat today. People kept feeding me. That was intended as comedic exaggeration, so laugh, mortals, laugh.
Oh,
That's a great. That's a great reaction.
okay.
It's funny. It's always funny when people are a bit feeling a bit off, and then someone tells a joke, and then they're still doing their serious face. They just go, yeah, yeah, okay. And you go, I was making a joke, and they go, oh, because you can't really save that at that point. You're just there like, I mean, what do I do?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I am pretty out of it today, just because like I said, I didn't really sleep at all. So
Yeah, I did, and I'm still out
Shit,
of
I'm never in it.
it.
yeah, well, I never sleep well, but usually I can get at least a couple hours. And it just sucks that, it's like I can never really sleep, but I never feel like I'm completely awake either. You'd think at some point I'd have to be one or the other.
Hmm. Well, my problem is that I'm some of the time nocturnal, essentially, as in I'm up a lot of the night and I get up quite late. And at some point soon, I'm going to be doing a job where I need to be up quite early.
Scheiße.
So I'm going to be a little bit wonky for a while.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It
That's
usually takes me at least 2 weeks to adjust to a new sleep schedule.
I never have one to start with, so. But yeah, it's most of the time I'm not really getting to sleep much before sunrise, and just in the summer wind up doing outdoor projects, so I wind up having to get up at ungodly early hours. It
Well,
doesn't make for a good combination.
um, I had to get
'Cause
up early yesterday because I had to get the train.
I don't really know if I get up really early or really late. I get up at 9:30 at night and get ready for work.
well, anything before midnight is early as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm necessarily nocturnal because of my light sensitivity, so
Yeah.
Is it night shifts and stuff you do then?
oh yes indeedy. I
Yeah,
try to. I sometimes I might have a job that does day stuff, but my current one is awesomely overnight, so
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't take too much of the sunlight either.
I don't mind the sunlight. I don't like the people. I don't like being around people that much.
Yeah.
yep.
So I choose to be in situations where I'm not.
Well, I don't care for dealing with people, especially in groups. But also
Yep,
my eyes are
that's
very light
exactly.
sensitive, so yeah, bright light tends to give me headaches.
Yep. Yep, I'm very much the same. The more people that are around, the more stressed out and nervous I get. Anxious, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, well, that's part of my
Hmm.
problem with my family too, is that I have a large family, so it's like anything winds up being a large group of people, and if there's more than 5 people in the room, I'm already getting stressed out before anything's even started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hang.
with my family, it's like even the simplest kind of get-togethers is going to already be 12 to 15 people.
Yep. Uh, I try to avoid large gatherings of more than maybe 4 people.
Yeah.
How many people are there in the role play group? Let me see. Me.
Well, see, for some things like the gaming, I can tolerate it a bit better because, at least it's like
Yeah, there's a
everybody's
focus.
focused on one issue.
Yeah. For the role play group that I'm in, around a table role play, it's 6 people, including myself.
Yeah.
And that's an okay number. It's starting to border on too many.
Yeah, well, that's how I wind up. We do gaming with my brother and his family on Sundays, and that winds up being had been 5 of us. Now that his son has been inviting his girlfriend to join us, so we're up to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. But again, at least we got the games going, and it takes a lot of the awkwardness out of it.
Yeah, and it does help if there's a clear.
But that is one thing that I can deal with the crowds a couple times a year for doing a couple of gaming conventions,
Mm-hmm.
which I've got one coming up next month. So
Oh,
actually, I think it's a month from today. Actually, that's
That was
be
a
in
thing.
Minnesota for a gaming convention.
I went to MCM in London a few years ago, the old Comic Con, and most of it was fine, but one day of it was just there were far too many people. Yeah, I think it was. I think it might have been the Saturday. It was the busiest day there, and you couldn't move like at all. I figured something out about myself that day, which is that in crowds, dense crowds of people, I have two different protocols for how I deal with crowds. I can either stick with a group of people that I'm with, or I can get through the crowd quickly. And my getting through crowds quickly protocol does not accommodate sticking with people I'm walking with.
Yes, I have the same problem.
Yeah, so what happened was I started to feel really sort of overwhelmed and a bit claustrophobic amongst all these people. And I just went like, no, I got to get out of this crowd. So I looked at the person I was walking with as, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
You deal with that. I'm over here.
This is like, yeah, this is no good. I can't handle this crowd. Goodbye.
Humans are scary.
Oh, they are the most dangerous animal on the planet.
Oh, hands down, second to none.
Yeah. I only have to be here a little bit longer. Once I finish my thesis work, I can go back home.
See, humans are a bit like a virus. I agree with Agent Smith in that regard. Humans are infectious disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've often considered that long before that movie came out, that when I was a pagan, I had the idea of basically that the planet was basically, you know, that God was the sum of everything living on the planet. So we were each like a single cell in God's body, and if you followed that analogy, then yeah, our species was a cancer because it was growing out of control and consuming all the resources.
It becomes a
Yeah.
malignant tumor that is spread and metastasized throughout the whole system.
Hello, Sassy.
Metastasized.
Yeah, and that's the question about if we should actually be traveling to other planets.
I
We spread
like
the infection.
I like Dave Lister's view on that and Red Dwarf. Just I always had the feeling that humans are like a disease. That's why all the other planets give us such a wide berth. They're like, oh, don't go near Earth. It's got human beings on it. They're contagious.
They are an infestation.
Well, I'm trying to think what that line was in the first Men in Black, that he explained it so well that
That's just popped into my head as well. So do you want me to go through?
yeah, that
I
a
know
person
the
is
bug.
rational. People as a group,
Yeah.
are just
People are frightened, easily led
stupid,
animals.
frightened
I
herd.
know the line you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People are smart. They can handle it. No. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
that's
There
it.
you go.
Yep.
Let me just
Especially in
quote
groups, especially in herds.
Let me just get the quote that the bug says about humans.
What the bug says.
Yeah, the insect guy in the Edgar suit.
Oh, okay.
Ow. Where is
Carla. Yes, such
There,
fun.
there it is. A insect exterminator turns up at the farm that the bug is at,
Yeah.
and is
Yep.
talking about an infestation of cockroaches.
Yes.
And then Edgar the bug says, I've noticed an infestation here. Everywhere I look, in fact, nothing but underdeveloped, unevolved, barely conscious pond scum, totally convinced of their own superiority as they scurry about their short, pointless lives.
Yep.
The
Yep.
bug guy's like, well, yeah. Do you want to get rid of them?
In the worst way.
It's the thing down the guy's throat.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
my favorite quote from Doctor Who, and this is Tom Baker Doctor Who, so it's the one and true Doctor Who, of course. No, my personal favorite, but my favorite quote from him is, "Some of my best friends are humans. It's just that when they gather into groups, people tend to suffer for it."
Yep. I also like from Men in Black again. I like the line when the bug's down in the crater in the ground, and the farmer's there with his shotgun. And he goes, "Place projectile weapon on the ground." He goes, "You can have my gun when you pry it from my cold dead fingers. Your proposal is acceptable."
Yeah. Yeah.
A very well-spoken space cockroach.
Yeah. That was a good film, that.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah, I love Men in Black.
Second one was also good, but not as good as the first. I don't know what they've done recently. I haven't kept up with it because the trailers looked awful.
yeah, I haven't seen the new one. Again, it's a franchise that had, virtually unlimited potential. So I don't know if they've done the last one decently or not.
They did a
Yeah.
game that was pretty good. I played the game for a little while. I accidentally killed myself though because I had the noisy cricket.
Ah. Yeah, again, I haven't done any other gaming.
Yeah, I've been mostly dinking around with DC Online and Star Trek Online myself.
I used to play Star Trek Online. Went off it a bit when all the Discovery stuff started appearing.
I made special Discovery characters. I got 2 of them.
No, I just don't want Discovery near me.
I don't know. I like it. I find lots of stuff in it I like. I do like some of the approach is a little more realistic. I think I guess I like what they're doing with the character development. I don't know if it's the best. They could always use more, I suppose. But I mean, they're really making making the characters more relevant to today. Because what year is it supposed to be taking place?
I don't know.
Like a couple 100 years in the future. Are humans going to really change all that much? Are they really going to stop saying fuck? And
Well,
that's
the language may change a bit, but yeah, the actual behaviors, no.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
and that's what they do is, the characters are really more like relevant to today and a lot looser, and most of the acting is pretty good. So
Well, the thing for me with Discovery, I mentioned the thing with the bleached Urukai Klingons.
yep.
Now, that's a slightly facetious reason why I didn't watch it, but it is a major part of the reason, because I looked at that image, them going, here is a Klingon, and me going, no, there isn't. And that said to me that I wasn't going to be going in watching a Star Trek show. I was going to be watching a reimagining redo of a Star Trek show. And that's not what I wanted. I didn't want a reimagined, remade, remastered, everything brand new Star Trek. I wanted a continuation of the Star Trek that there already was. And I could see from the promotional shots that wasn't what I was going to get, so I just didn't bother watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Actually, I just not as much, I guess. It just doesn't bother me as much as it seems to a lot of other people.
I think that's why. Did you hear the whole controversy about the new She-Ra show?
Yeah, I started watching it, and I intend to watch some more. And I don't know if it's.
I think
I don't
that's
know.
why a lot of people who are fans of the old show didn't get into the new one, because they changed the art style, changed some of the story elements a bit. There's a slightly different tone. It's not an '80s cartoon. It's
it is very different, and it is difficult.
That's why a lot of the people who liked the original show didn't like the new one. But I was never a huge fan of the original show. I didn't watch it as a child. So the new one,
I watched it just because. Yeah, I watched it, the old She-Ra, just because to me it was more He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same animators, same writers, same world, sort of, an alternate dimension in the same universe, I guess, but but it was still more He-Man to me. I didn't give a shit.
If I just poke my snout in here a little second, I see 2 lines from Nerdy Rodent in the chat, and I think they perfectly encapsulate this entire scenario, this entire problem with consuming media. And the first one is, stop pushing your own wants onto an experience. And the second one is, it's true, I refuse to watch the new She-Ra.
Well, and I think that is what happens with a lot of the reboots, is that they try to make them relevant to the current day, so that pisses off the fans that like the original one.
Yeah, I think that perfectly encapsulates a lot of the experience. If you're going to remake something, you're going to piss people off, because the fans of the original will not like your new direction, or a lot of them won't.
Yeah.
And people who've seen the who haven't seen the original but see the new one will be into that and not the original. So you'll end up dividing the community.
Well, like, I was a fan of the original Transformers, but I can't stand what they've been doing with the new movies. Well, again, the new movies, they don't bother to develop the characters at all. It's just all a bunch of, explosions and...
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it's
just an action film, and there's no characters.
You don't know what the hell's going on most of the time in them. But
you do have to pay attention.
I do have a comment on the She-Ra, though, which is I really enjoy that a lot of the characters are just named after what they do.
Oh, and if I can, real quick. Hello, Miss Sassy. Hello. Okay, please continue. Sorry.
Oh, hello, Sassy. Are you there?
She's actually been here for a little while.
Yeah, but she, just noticed I was here or something, so... Thanks for noticing me.
How are you doing? What was it? I really like that a lot of the characters in the show are just named after what they do, but there's one bit that really stood out to me, and I will relay my reaction, the line, and then my reaction to it. I was at a friend's house watching this because their daughter watches the show, and I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were we watching?
She-Ra.
She-Ra. Okay, the new She-Ra.
Yeah, the new one. I was around
Okay.
their house helping them out with some stuff, and their daughter watches the show. So while I was there, I binge watched the entire thing on their Netflix. There was a. I'm not gonna spoilers because people might want to watch it. But the one line that stood out to me was one of the princesses in the show is called Entrapta. And they're in her castle, and
she's called what?
Entrapta.
Entrapta.
Yeah, and
is the character's name.
Yeah, and they're in her castle. They go, "Oh no! Entrapta's castle is full of traps." And I was sitting on the sofa, and I just looked over at my friend and went, "Really? Entrapta's castle is full of traps. Everyone in this show is named after what they do. Your name is Bo, and you shoot a bow. What did you think you were going to find in Entrapta's castle?
Yeah.
They're legitimately surprised to find traps. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think that was part of what even put me off of the original He-Man was the names were kind of just too obvious.
Yeah.
They tried to play them as clever word puns of some sort, but they were also thinly.
Sassy says Badger is a snobby Englishman. Well, no. It's true, but I'm nice about it.
He's a
polite
snob.
Got his computer back. Okay.
You think I'm joking? Oh. It's much better.
Oh, I didn't think you were joking about the slippers.
That's comfy on the old feet.
Quite frankly, I was somewhat indifferent about the matter of your slippers. To be honest.
Indifferent about my slippers?
About the matter of your slippers.
Well, if you're not in my borough, it's not my affair.
Unless they were magic slippers and you really needed to get home, then, there was smoke in the kitchen.
Yeah, I've tried cooking the it's no good.
Yeah. Well, that's I would have, I would have just grabbed that witch by the throat, you stupid bitch! I could have gone home all this time, and you made me go through all that shit.
Yeah, why didn't you just after she tells her that, it would be funny if she just has a stunned look, looks down at the slippers, looks back at the white witch, whatever she is, and just scowls and just rocks her right in the crotch, just kicks her with the fucking ruby slippers right then and there.
Yeah.
Takes her down. Just I almost died, you fucker.
Yeah, you almost got us all killed.
Fucking flying monkeys? Are you shitting me?
Oh, yeah. Again, classic movie, but if you really look at it, so many plot holes.
Well, plot holes are okay in some films. However,
and there's fun to be had.
Oh.
Oh no, I broke purple.
Excuse me. What was that?
So, oh no, I broke purple.
No, just coughing. Oh, but I should probably cut this short today and go and get to work on my car.
Yeah.
I say
Oh, yeah.
basically I'm pretty much going and taking a biopsy on my car. You go put it up on jacks and cut out a piece of the line to find out what size fittings and shit I need to get for it.
Ah. You having the
Or
car
would
trouble,
that, or would that be a technopsy
Yeah.
or a mechanopsy? Mechanopsy.
Yeah, I hate working on cars.
I do too, but I like playing with words.
I'm not good with cars. Well,
Yeah. Well,
I can
I do
drive
houses.
cars.
I can fix anything in the house.
Yeah, I drive
know.
cars, but I don't do the mechanics. The most I do generally is I'll pump the tires up and I'll put the wiper fluid in.
Yeah. Well, for me, the car is just another tool. It gets me where I want to go and brings me home. That's all I care about.
Occasionally, I'll check the oil level.
It is an assemblage of tubes and gears and mechanisms and panels and nothing more.
I could see people getting all excited about cars. It's just not me.
I can understand why some people do. It's just, it hasn't been a thing for me.
I have to admit the van is pretty neat. But, coming from a dude who grew up on cars we bought for $100, and you're lucky if you can roll down two windows, much less have a functioning heater and a radio.
Yeah.
And this was before air conditioning was in a lot of cars. So most of the ones we got didn't even have air conditioning capability. And later on, if they did have air conditioning, it didn't work.
Yeah, I think my whole life I've only had one car that the air conditioner worked.
There seems to be a common difference between the Brits and the Americans is we don't generally have air conditioning over here. We'll have in the car there's a fan. Some cars have an AC button, and I don't know what it does.
Yep.
See, we don't have air-conditioned houses. And the thing that seems to be, well, what do you do when it's hot? It's like, we die.
Yeah, well, I like simplicity, and unfortunately, the car I would like most has never been sold in the U.S. Yeah, the Brits are probably more familiar with the Citroen, the 2CV.
I think the dock broke, but yeah.
Yeah.
I used to drive a Citroen. Now I don't.
I wanted to get the Sahara, their four-wheel drive version.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like their approach to that. Instead of bothering syncing up the axles, they just dropped a second engine into it, so you can blow an engine and still drive home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got two completely separate drivetrains, 2 engines, 2 transmissions, 1 for each axle.
That is handy.
But apparently there were only about 50 of them ever produced, so they're kind of hard to find. And they were never sold outside of Europe.
So the wheel will be on the wrong side for you then.
Yeah, I could deal with that.
I don't think I've ever driven a car with the wheel on the left.
I'd always kind of wondered how that had happened, that the U.S. wound up being about the only country with it on the other side.
I don't know. well, there's a lot of countries that drive on the right, although I can link you to a video by a chap, a very fine gentleman called Lindy Beige, who will demonstrably and conclusively prove that driving on the left is superior. But I don't know. I don't know how that became a thing in the first place.
Offhand, I can't see why either side would have any advantage over the other.
Oh, I'll link you to the video.
Okay, I was wondering what Cripple was saying, something to do with dual horse trains.
Yeah, I'm having some internet troubles at the moment, so I can't see the chat right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm waiting for a technician to come and fix this. Well, I should probably toodle off and hello, Mr. Purple.
yeah, I think maybe I'll just shut this down here for today. We did 2 hours, and like I said, I should get to my car. So.
Oh, did you ever manage to get that split cam thing working?
No, I think I'm just having problems with the amount of memory in my computer.
Yeah, it could be.
So yeah, that's my next purchase. I have to buy some memory, but it's about $65, and I really didn't have the extra money before the car broke down, so
Hmm.
not
Yeah,
sure
that does
when I'm going to
present
be
you with
able
an
to do
issue.
that. But
Yes.
yeah, I actually have a camera now. Neil upgraded his, and he sent me his
Ooh.
old one.
Oh, so
And
you
I
think
discovered that with the memory in my computer, it cannot manage to run the software for the camera and the StreamYards at the same time.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think you've definitely got some memory issues there.
Yeah. Well, I've only got a total of 8K of memory, and everybody's told me that Windows 10 takes up about 6K on it, or 6 gig on its own.
Yeah. Well, if you there may be a setting somewhere or a low impact piece of software that will allow you to just present a looped video as your instead of a webcam, but split cam is the one that I use because it's been pretty reliable for me, but it is a little memory intensive, I think, if you're having memory issues.
Yeah. Yeah, Cripple's saying the solution's not to run Windows 10, and it's like, yeah, if I actually knew something about these computers, I wouldn't, but since that's what all the software is made for, I'm kind of stuck with it.
There we
I
go.
wouldn't know how to find my way around and get anything to run.
Yeah, now I am using the Windows on my things, but if it was viable for gaming and stuff, I'd probably use some Linux variant.
Yeah, well, even Diana had to break down and install Windows on one of her computers.
Yeah, a lot of stuff will only run on Windows at the moment.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was the same thing for, the streaming software wound up being that on movie night, trying to run under Unix.
Yep.
Movie night was freezing up her computer. Yeah.
Yep, I can see that being an issue, especially if you're trying to do a. Where's the socket gone? There it is. Especially if you're trying to do a specific show, it will present you with problems.
Yeah, I can stick 8 gig chips into each slot on this one. So on Amazon it wasn't really too expensive. It's like $65 for a pair of 8 gig chips. So, I could take 2 of the 2 gig chips out of there, and that would bring me up to 20 gigs instead of the 8 I'm running on now. So that would be a huge improvement.
Yeah, that would definitely help.
So that should solve most of my problems. And
Well, I hope it all works out for you. I
yeah,
had some computer problems a little while ago, but I think the problem was just dust had got down inside, deep in one of the fans. So stuff was overheating. I got, an air duster, stuck it right in there and blew it all out, and suddenly everything was running smoothly again.
yeah, if there was too much in there, maybe the fans weren't running at the proper speed. So
Yeah, I think the fan was just it had enough. It couldn't keep it cool anymore, so the thing was shutting itself down because it was overheating.
yeah, with my nephew's computer, we have to do that on a fairly regular basis, at least 2, 3 times a year of opening it up and getting all the dust out of there. And
Yeah, I'm trying to do it every couple of weeks at the moment, just because, particularly during the summer, it was becoming an issue.
well, since I got mine up off the floor, it's not as big an issue. I had a much bigger issue with it when it was sitting on the floor and the cat was rubbing up against it.
Oh yeah.
I actually had a hard drive crash about 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
when the tech took it apart, he said that somehow it had actually gotten cat hair inside the hard drive, even though it was a sealed unit.
It does get everywhere.
Yeah. So that's another one of the things on my wish list is, he stuck in an old hard drive he had from an old computer. So right now I've got two 500 gig hard drives, and the one that I lost was a 2 terabyte drive.
Yeah, I've got a similar problem actually with an old external hard disk. It's at it. I can't get into it without like expensive recovery software.
Yeah.
And it does have. I've still got it. It's over there because it's somewhere in here because it's got some stuff on there that I want, but I can't get into it, and I don't really want to take it to a professional place.
Well, that is one of the few nice things about living in this town is there's two
Oh,
guys that run a computer lab down at the local community center on Thursdays.
mm-hmm.
And it's like if you bring it in there, anything that they can do there, they'll pretty much do for free.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And even the more extensive stuff, it's like, yeah, they do most of the stuff on a donation basis.
Mm-hmm.
At most, they'll, charge $20 an hour for real intense stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even recovering, they managed to recover like 85-90% of what was on the hard drive that crashed.
No, that's not
So
too
I didn't
bad.
lose too much.
Well, that's something at least. Anyway, I should probably toodle off and get my pie before I do some stuff this evening.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I should go and work on my car. I don't really want to do it, but it needs to get done.
Oh, there were a few things I saw in the chat actually. There's Nerdy Rodent there saying, never run computers on a floor. Well, I got nowhere else, so it's on the floor.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah. Sassy's saying when I do a live stream to send a message to her on Discord. I'm not in the habit of using Discord yet. I have it. I just
Yeah, I'm barely on Discord for any of this stuff because
yeah.
there's
Again,
too many different routes of getting in touch with people, and I'm struggling to keep track of them all.
yeah. I was doing pretty good with Twitter, but more and more people are leaving Twitter. Can't say I blame them.
Yeah, it is a bit of a.
Yeah, like
It's a
it
bit
just
of a.
seems to be wave after wave. It's one drama after another.
Yeah, it's being buried in a wave of crap at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the chat. We'll see you later. Everybody in the side there, thanks for coming.
Yeah, good
Oh,
to see you.
and Tria
Good to
just
see you
made it
again.
in.
Good to see you again, Sassy. Good to see everybody else. Nerdy Rodent, you piss off with your hand shot second malarkey.
Yeah, Nerdy's been helping me, so
Yep, but Han shot first.
yes. Han definitely shot first. I've got no question about that.
No, he's all right, but Han shot first.
Okay, so cutting off the broadcast now.
Okay,
Bye-bye,
looks
everyone.
Like the Millsabub did get back into his YouTube.
Yeah, he had posted